This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Christina Wackenshaw, and what a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness. She tells us 5 different pitches and ends with the most epic story about selling her burps. Yep, you heard me correctly. Selling her burps. Here we are in the Third Wheel Podcast Studio in Seattle. This episode's brought to you by Drama Kids International, and you're really going to enjoy it. What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness. Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches, where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. I am Monica Nevi, your host. This episode is brought to you by Drama Kids International. It is a wonderful program for kids to do drama and learn public speaking and social skills, and now they offer Zoom classes, whatever they are. It's over Zoom. So if you're tired of listening to your children, go ahead and check out Drama Kids International, which we will link in the description. Get them signed up for some Zoom programs, or eventually they have after school and summer programs as well. Drama Kids International. All right. Very excited to get our episode started. One of my favorite people is our guest today, Christina Wackenshaw.
Hey. Hi, Monica. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for doing it.
Thanks for having me. I love your shirt. I love tie-dye.
Yeah, it's the Drama Kids shirt. Isn't that sweet?
That's a good one. Wow, way to rock your brand. I think that's good.
Yeah, and you got Christmas lights. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful ambiance here.
Well, guess what? It turns out I'm a really festive person all year round. I refuse to take down my lights. They're bringing me happiness.
Well, it's working for me too, so I like it. All right. So, I mean, I know you. We're good friends. We bonded over craft beers, probably.
I love my craft beer.
Yeah. Well, we used to go to breweries when we both lived in LA. Now neither of us live there, and that's why it sucks so bad. Yeah. But you've also plenty of success as a stand-up comedian. Just for laughs, you have a comedy special, 2 comedy albums, a wonderful and hilarious podcast called Jillin' Off. So you've had plenty of good ideas, is what I'm trying to say here, or at least ideas that you've seen to fruition. It's funny. I had Janae Burris on another episode. It was funny when I told her the idea for the show. She said, "Oh, but I don't have any bad ideas." And your response was, "Oh, I have so many bad ideas for you." I was like,
I got this. Perfect. Bring it on.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when we first met, we actually did, which was probably a bad idea, honestly, some competition for flappers. And it was on like a Wednesday or whatever, and there was like 10 people in the audience. And competitions for comedy are painful enough, let alone nobody being there.
I was just thinking, like 5 minutes before we started, I could almost put that on the list of bad ideas, is doing a comedy competition.
Yes, I mean it really is. And okay, so we did that one, which was just like a one-day type of. It's supposed to be kind of an audition thing too. You either did you get first or second? Like you did well in it.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember if that happened before or after I actually moved to LA. Because I remember getting on to the next round, and then I was like, "Too bad, I'm going back to Canada." Like that's it.
Well, because
we really bonded when we went to Sacramento Punchline.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about all that.
That was when I was like, yeah, Monica Nevi for life.
So that was a good idea. No, I mean, is it ever a good idea to drive 5 hours for $25? I don't know. But
you could have like a string of shitty one-nighters that paid us $50 that we drove across the country for.
Right, but we made friends, so it's good.
Exactly. I like the comedy competitions. Be like, okay, I'm going to invest 3 weeks and $3,000 of my life to maybe make $1,000.
Right, exactly. And so then I can say maybe that I won or was a finalist or whatever. Some of the, oh gosh. Oh
my God.
It's painful.
And it's funny because, you know, me, I'm a very positive person. So in general, I would say, like, there are no bad ideas. There are maybe good ideas that have bad timing, or you might think they're a bad idea, but in the long run, they actually, they helped you, or they were beneficial somehow.
Yeah.
You know, fucking failure is good, right?
Yes.
So your bad ideas will lead to good ideas.
You'll learn from them, I suppose. But that's funny. We were just talking about kind of the confidence needed, and sometimes people are like having an idea but don't follow through with it, and it's like just throw it at the wall, you'll be fine. So I like that. Or I do this a lot where I'll start to write a joke, write it down, and then keep looking at it and being like, I just don't think this is anything. And then months later have something that connects to that. And I'm like, that's what it was supposed to be, but it just took me a while to actually. So you needed the bad idea first to put it with something else.
You have to write down all your ideas because you don't know what's going to turn into, you know, your great idea.
Yeah.
Your best.
Or my, you know, the movie they make about me when I die. They'll need all my notes in my phone.
Well, I could tell you, because it was so funny, because I was thinking about this and I was like, oh, what do we talk about? You know, should I talk about, you know, that guy I moved to, this guy I met in a nightclub in Las Vegas who convinced me I was his soulmate, and then I moved to Huntington Beach for him? Or do I talk about the time I wore a Union Jack shirt to Scotland? And then all these like bad, like, I was like, are these bad ideas or are these mistakes? I need to know what's the difference.
That is a good question. That is a good question. Are these bad ideas or are they mistakes? Or are they good ideas in disguise? I don't know. That's a good, I don't know. I mean, those ones, we need more information probably. But did you land on a specific bad idea that you were like, okay, let's talk about this one?
Well, let's start with this one. Okay, so this one, I was 23 years old and I was in Las Vegas. So this is true. 23. And basically what ended up happening is I met a guy on the dance floor of a nightclub in Las Vegas who convinced me I was his soulmate.
Right then and there.
Yeah, it took us maybe about 24 hours. You know, these 24-hour Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And not to brag, but there wasn't even any drugs. It was just like drinking and holding hands. Just the G-rated party action. I'm a one-trick pony. So anyways, yeah, but he convinced me I was his soulmate. And so, yeah, I went back to Ottawa and I like got rid of my apartment, sold my car, quit my job, and I moved to Huntington Beach, California. For a guy, paperless. Although don't forget I'm crossing a border too. Like, wow. And guess how long it lasted, Monica?
I'm a week. I don't know. A year?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, so after that, did you have to move back or what? Did you stay in?
Again, you know, I'm such a hopeless romantic. Like, I'm so positive that I was also 23. So like, I feel like you're really
right. You got the energy too, the positivity and the energy.
Yeah, just like being so young. Of course, I was like, cause the time with that guy was maybe comfortable for like 3 days, and then it was awkward. And no, but then I had already been doing stand-up for like 3 years. So I was like, but I've already been doing stand-up for like 3 years. I was like, maybe I'm meant to be here. Right. Maybe he was just
the catalyst. What got me to
the place I need to be for my dreams to come true. And at the time I only had like maybe 15 or 20 minutes of comedy, which is like 8 times what you need when you first get to LA.
That is true. That is true.
You're only going to get 3-minute sets. And so, yeah, my bad idea turned into, I don't know, being in LA too soon.
How long were you in LA the first time?
4 years.
See, that's like a long time too. So then eventually you're there more than you were in Canada doing stand-up. So
it's so crazy. I can't even believe I lasted that long. And then I went back to Toronto or whatever. And, you know, I've gone back and forth. I'm in New York now, which is like the best idea.
Yeah, that's great idea.
I mean, I got here March 1st.
Maybe not the best timing, but
yeah, bad timing again. That's a good idea. It's bad timing.
Okay, well, I want to rewind just a little bit and kind of go like what. Sorry, the 24-hour thing makes me laugh, which is I'm not, you know. So what was happening between you and him where you were like, yeah, this makes sense. We're probably soulmates.
Like, I remember the actual pickup part kind of oh, like I remember we were all on the dance floor. It was whatever. I think it was still called Studio 54 back then.
Oh, wow.
And it was in the MGM, which is, I think it's called Hakkasan now. But that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've walked past that.
And so I was on the dance floor with my friend, and I thought he was making fun of my dancing. I don't feel very confident in the dancing world. It's just not that's just not my forte.
Okay.
So then I kind of approached him and I was like, are you making fun of my dancing? And I was kind of being like, I was like, it's fine. You can make fun of my dancing. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, but it looks like you're trying to impersonate me dancing. And then he's like, I swear to God, I'm not. So I guess maybe he was a bad dancer too.
Oh.
And then this is like, I'm trying to remember, if I had a cell phone, it would have had like an outrageous Canadian plan. It would have been too expensive for me to be using it in the States. So I didn't give him my phone number, but we kind of hung out, kept dancing all night. Then the next day I randomly bump into him on the street on like Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's when he was like, hey. And then I was like, oh. And then that's kind of when we ended up going to like an after hours that night and just hanging out. And he was like, don't go home. Just like, come with me. Come back to California with me right now. And I was like, oh, like I can't do that. And then I went back to Ottawa and we used to talk on the phone every night.
Okay.
You know, it was
okay.
like,
that's soulmate stuff, I guess.
We would talk for like hours. I would go to internet cafes. Now I'm like really dating myself. Like just like chat with him on Messenger. It was like Hotmail Messenger or AOL. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was an ICQ. It wasn't the one that goes, oh, that one I don't miss at all. And then he was like, I quit my job. I'm moving to Ottawa. And I'm like, no, moving to Ottawa is like a bad idea. Like if you live in California, Ottawa, as much as I loved my time in Ottawa, by the way, but I'm like no, that's not happening. If anybody's going to do a move, it's going to be me. And so this would have been like maybe a month and a half after I met him.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask, was how long were we doing the chatting and stuff? Okay.
But a month and a half. And it's so funny because, you know, I am a bit of like a sign girl, you know, I like to manifest things. And, you know, I notice signs in my life, but what's really interesting is I actually missed my initial flight that I was supposed to take.
Oh, which would have been, maybe I shouldn't do this. Yeah.
Flight. And then I took another flight later in the day, but I was like, ooh, oops. And then it lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens once you get there? What was kind of like, was it just obvious right away? Like, oh, we shouldn't have done this? Or when does it turn into an obvious bad idea?
It was obvious in about 3 days. And it was funny because when I was like initially planning to go, I was working for Yuck Yucks in Canada, and I had like a road gig in Kingston, Ontario. So I was there for the weekend with a great comedian who lives in LA now. She's from Ottawa, Lisa Gay Tremblay. And when I told her I was like moving to Huntington Beach for a guy, she was like, this is the worst idea of all time. Worst idea.
Who needs a sign when your friends just straight up tell you?
Exactly, right? And, you know, she's like married and has kids and, you know, just a lot wiser than I am. And so she goes, when this doesn't work out, she's like, I want you to call me. Here's my phone number. I will come to Huntington Beach and she goes, when you're out of money and you have no job, you call me. I'll come down to Huntington Beach. I'll pick you up and I'll give you a box of tampons because you're out. Like, or something like that. She was like, when this doesn't work out, call me and I'll be there.
Okay. So what do you think when she says that? Were you not like, okay.
I'm laughing. I'm like, okay. Oh, she's so funny. Then 2 weeks later, I call her.
Did you actually call her? So there you go. It's a good thing that happened. At least you had some sort of option after.
Yeah, and it was so funny. Well, she actually gave me a box of tampons on like the last night of our shows in Kingston, which was funny because like I was so young and I wasn't even using tampons yet. I was scared of them. I was still wearing pads. Maybe that part. I mean, maybe your viewers were looking for that part of the story. I just really like to get details.
Yeah, we need these important parts.
But wow, did I ever pick the worst time though? Because she's in Sherman Oaks, I was in Orange County.
Yeah.
And I called and I asked her to come pick me up on a Friday of a long weekend. Like it was May long weekend, and she came on a Friday and picked me up. Like who would do like that? Must have been a like
and she
3
did
hours each way before I even can grasp what traffic is like in Southern California.
Or even how far apart. Like, it's funny, before you move there, you're like, oh, I can't really tell how far apart these things are. But Orange County to Sherman Oaks is quite a distance, even without traffic, for those of you that don't know. So that's very nice
but
of her.
You know what? I still feel like it was a bad idea. I don't know. It shows some character. I'm willing to take some risks. I feel like, yeah, I'm willing to take risks for love, and now I should learn how to take risks for my career.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's I just the obviously the timeline is just funny to me, but nobody even ever mentioned that part to me. Like, they were just like, oh, she had to go back to Canada. Like, that was it.
I mean,
never said like, yeah, she moved here with a dude.
Yeah. I was in Toronto for a while. I was in Toronto, I guess, for 9 years. And actually, if we're going to talk about Toronto, I could pitch you another bad idea that me and my friend Anna came up with. So we were both like, I was doing comedy, but I was also working in a bar, because you know how comedy pays in the beginning.
Or even now.
Yeah. So we came up with an idea for a website called drinkbeforework.com. And
what would the website? Okay, keep going, because I have questions.
Guess where we came up with this brilliant idea?
At the bar.
At the bar across the street from our bar, drinking before work.
Drinking before you had to go and work at that bar. Like, yes, they say we can't work. Maybe you guys just switch, like the servers from that bar drink at your bar, then you guys just cross the street. Like, that's
literally what was happening. Like, we came up with that idea at the Keg on York Street, and we worked across the street from McCool's, and yeah, all the servers just go back and forth. But we were all notorious for drinking before work, so we're like, oh my god, let's start a website called drinkbeforework.com, and it was just all going to be like tongue-in-cheek and like all these like successful stories about people drinking before work.
Okay, so it's just like kind of a social media thing for people who are drinking before work.
Exactly.
So you're just sharing your story, or maybe tips and tricks of how to drink before work.
No, I'm not lying. Like, Anna actually bought the domain name for drinkbeforework.com. I think we still own it. We never did anything with it, but we bought it. We were drunk enough that I think we spent $100 on that domain name. I bet you a lot of people do that, though. They buy a domain name and then they don't even do anything with it.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot, actually.
Yeah. Anyways, well, if anybody's looking to buy drinkbeforework.com, I'm sure your boss will love that. Like,
it could just be like an AA meeting, I guess. It's just like, this is when I got caught and fired.
My god, I know. I mean, maybe 2 drinks before work isn't bad. I mean, it makes you friendly.
That is true. Well, and especially if you're working in an establishment where everybody else is drunk, it's like, well, maybe I should get on your level. Have you ever been too drunk at either on stage or when you were working at the bar? Did you ever have a little bit too much across the street?
One time I definitely got busted being too drunk at Yuck Yucks in Oakville, Ontario. And so it was me and another comic, and we were drinking. But here's the thing, so this woman who wrote the letter, even though we're convinced it wasn't even like an actual patron of the comedy.
Oh, somebody.
It was the host.
Tattled on you.
Yeah, we think it was the host that like wrote some sort of a ghost kind of letter just to get us in trouble. Because he was, I don't know, a prick, basically.
Or
but
was he not invited? He felt bad.
But anyways, in said letter, this person thought that I was stoned. So they thought I was actually high and not drunk. They thought the other comic was drunk, and they thought I was stoned, which is interesting because I do feel like, not that I do stand up drunk anymore, but when I did do it, when I go on autopilot, which I can do, just the jokes that you just know, I'm middling at that point. So I'm only doing like 25 minutes. But yeah, I can autopilot. And if I'm autopiloting, I'm deadpan. Like, I am no personality. I'm just like the bits,
Yeah, that's funny because I mean, I think everybody can autopilot like that. And I've had moments where I'm on stage where I'm like, am I saying this joke right? Like, I'm thinking that in my head, but not thinking about what I'm saying. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes. I'm like watching myself from the outside, being able to still do it. Like, I'm like, I should probably write some new material.
You know another comic in Canada. Like, yeah, she got busted because she was so drunk that she did the same, like she did a joke a second time. And actually I've seen that from a couple comics. Have you done that?
I know I've never done it, but I am constantly afraid that I'm going to. Even if I'm not drunk, I'm like, did I do this? It's normally happens when you do more than one show in a night, and if you're doing similar sets, then you're like, was that this set or was that last set? But I've had multiple, especially when I'm drunk too, because I'm like, there's a fair chance that I have just forgotten, and so I'll say it and it'll get the laugh it's supposed to, and I'm like, well, I must not have done it yet. So either I have done it and no one ever told me, or because I've stopped myself before where I've gone, wait, did I do this joke before? And I hadn't done it. So now it's just awkward because I'm like, they're like, no, you didn't. I don't know. What are you doing? Stop doing that. I'm always afraid of that. I saw someone do it, but they were like really sick. They had pneumonia like the week before. And he normally a guy that's like very active, and he was like sitting down the whole time. And so he like told the audience, he was like, I'm so sorry. I like he started to do it again and was like, I was in the hospital, I swear. Like they felt really bad for him though.
And one of my other bad ideas, which again, this is like a mistake. I was doing the Glasgow Comedy Festival in 2014. And you know how like when I don't know, have you been to the UK?
Yeah, I did shows in England 2 years ago. I did London and Liverpool.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if I made this huge mistake because I was just young and I wasn't that much younger. I mean, it was 7 years ago, but because I was maybe naive to UK politics, or, I mean, this is how I feel. I feel I just didn't really realize I was crossing a border. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't go through customs when you leave England and you go into Scotland.
Right.
And I have always been a huge fan of the Spice Girls. So I was in, Notting Hill and like, what is that cute? Portobello Market.
Oh.
And I get like this cheap tank top that's a Union Jack tank top, just like what Jerry used to wear.
Yeah, that whole dress. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So I just buy a little tank.
She was my favorite. Ginger was my favorite.
Ginger was my favorite too. Yeah, I love Ginger. So I'm like, oh, this is a cute top. I could like rock this doing stand-up. And so then I get into the comedy club. Actually, no, it occurred to me at dinner. We go for dinner, me and Ted Morris, another hilarious comedian from Toronto, and sitting in the restaurant, and I'm just like, I shouldn't wear this on stage here. But it was too late to change, and like all the stores were closed. And then I was like, oh my God, I should not wear this shirt on stage. It's offensive to Scotland. It was just like, oh my God, like I'm stuttering even talking about it.
Like I need to make up for this now.
I know. I felt like such an idiot. And I was like, oh my God, why did I wear this shirt? Like I should, especially considering as a comedian, and I don't know if you're like this, but I'm very superstitious about what I wear on stage.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I've always had like lucky shirts. I try not to dress sexy or whatever. I just want people to listen to me and not look at me.
Yep.
Always kind of dress down because I don't know. I come from another era where there was barely any female comedians.
Right. We're fun clowns. We're not ladies. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that. Yeah.
Different. Anyways, so it was too late. I didn't have another shirt. I had to wear the shirt. I had 2 sets that night. The first set, rough.
Yeah. Very
rough. Like I wouldn't say it was a full-blown bomb, but it was like everybody was killing and I just barely survived. Like it was an amazing club to stand in Glasgow. Amazing. So then for the second show, I'm like, I'm just going to address my fuck up. I'm just going to come clean. And so I come out there and because the whole show is kind of about like, it was called like a homecoming gala. So it was all kind of people of Scottish descent, that live in different countries. And we all came to Glasgow for the festival. So I'm obviously representing Canada.
Right. Yes. Got it.
They're probably like, she's American.
She's a no one.
And so I just got on stage and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if it's my Scottish heritage, but I just like love how cheap everything is here. Like I've been getting the craziest bargains. Like this shirt, And they laughed. They loved it. They were like, yeah, that's...
Got it. Okay, you were like, let me draw attention to this.
Like, let me just dress the shirt. And then the set was amazing. But anyways, so that's a bad idea. Don't wear your Jerry Halliwell outfit
to Scotland.
Change on the train.
Did anybody say anything that first set or anything like?
It was just like uncomfortable. I think everybody knew that the shirt was a stinker, and I did know. Is it weird that I'm using the microphone from Grant Lyon's board game?
I didn't notice. Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Shout out to Grant Lyon and his game Curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Let me know when I get the light, because it turns out I've had a lot of bad ideas. But so this is a combo of like a good idea, a bad idea that's kind of blossomed into something that's made me money.
Okay. That's the best bad idea, I think.
Okay, so where do we even start? Okay, so I got a message on Instagram, you know, like in the request box where people write you and you don't actually know them.
Yeah.
So we've been bored since COVID, so I check those messages every day, just in case.
Like there could be something good in here.
You never know. And so it was a guy, and he was like, have you ever considered selling videos of your burps? And I was like, should I respond to this? And then I kind of asked Jen and a couple of friends, and they're like, you have nothing to lose, just write him back. So I do, and I'm like, just out of curiosity, how much would you spend, or how much would you pay for a video of me burping? He goes, I don't know, I give you $60. And I was like, what?
For one video?
Money off burping? And so my neighbor was like, why don't you start an OnlyFans? And so I started an OnlyFans, and I'm Burps Magoo, okay? And I've literally already made over $3,000.
Oh my God. Wow.
So it is kind of a bad idea, because like I don't want my legacy to be professional burper.
It's funny that, like, you know, we've worked hard for many, many years, and then you're like, this is the thing. Like, this is what people know.
I mean, did stand up for 2 decades, and all of a sudden, like, I make more money burping on the internet than I made in like my first 2 years of comedy. Like, so insane. And then we've also started to do burping contests that Jen Murphy judges on YouTube. So we have a few of those. Nice. Although I don't like giving away my burps anymore. I feel like they're valuable.
Yeah, I mean, if people are paying for them, don't give it away. Yeah, we won't have you do it here. That'll be a paid thing. You gotta pay.
And this is my other like best bad idea, where I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go to the producers of The Masked Singer, and I'm gonna pitch The Masked Burper. So a celebrity all dressed up in some weird animal costume burping, and then we have to like guess like which actor from Modern Family that was.
Nice. You know? I think that is, I mean, because it would be like the amplified version of why you like The Masked Singer is to be like, oh, I didn't know that celebrity was a good singer. But then if you unmask some, you know, I don't know, small lady celebrity, and you're like, whoa, that was a big burp. I didn't think that was her. I didn't know she could do that. That would be, I like it. I think that's good. That'll be the one comment if you would watch The Masked Burper for sure.
I'll just be like, oh, wow, I didn't know Delta Burke was so gassy.
It's funny because I saw you post, well, first of all, I've had you on my other podcast. I've also like seen just your Instagram stories and stuff. You often do just burp because you need to, right? And there's no shame in that, and I appreciate it. And so I had seen you kind of, I thought it was just a joke, you know, or you were, but there was more of an inquiry happening of like, well, do people do this? Like, would you, you know? And I didn't know that it actually flourished into the OnlyFans, but does it keep you busy?
I mean, I make a few videos a week, and then I update my stories. Like, it's kind of the same formula as Instagram, only in addition to comments, there's also tips. So people can tip, and they can like request you know, personalized videos. You know, it's so funny. Like, I feel like I was actually recruited for this job. Like,
well, yeah, somebody's like, you were seeked out.
I really was, because I guess I didn't know this, but there's also like a burp fetish forum on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
And
okay,
so
that makes sense.
on YouTube, like let's say if I'll do a burp for you. I should probably, but just to show my brand and my skill.
Get a little taste. It's a sample.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And so when I would burp on our podcast on Jill and Off, we were posting those on YouTube when I was still in LA. And the producer at Comedy Pop-Up was like, first of all, certain videos were getting like thousands more views than others. And we're like, why are those ones getting more than others? Then Nick went into the comments and like sometimes people were like they were leaving time codes.
Oh.
So it would be like 14, 13, 27, 12. And we're like, what are they time coding? And they're time coding my burps. Nobody wants to listen to a whole episode of my podcast.
They don't want to hear you talk. They want to hear your burps.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. That's funny because Nolan and I were talking earlier about, like you have an idea and you're like, I think this is really good. And then you put it out and it just doesn't get what you want. Or something that you think is kind of silly and you're like, I'll put it out anyways. And then people really love it. So it's funny that it was kind of a joke before and it's really like actually this thing people want. Yeah. I'd heard that there was fetishes for like farts and stuff like that as a thing. So it makes sense that there would be.
I get some fart lovers in my like subscribing as well. I think it's like a confusion, like the same confusion that's out there between like stand-up and improv.
I see. Comedian versus okay.
People think that you can automatically just have like both skills, and then I have to go, oh no, I'm a stand-up, like I'm a burper.
Right.
Like,
no, I do burps only.
I do burps only. I mean, I can fart, but I definitely can't fart on demand.
No. Would you consider adding that to the menu?
Oh, I've tried. It seems like the second I actually get my hands on the phone, it's already released. It's too late. I would need to have to like install cameras like Big Brother style.
Oh, just all the time in case you could.
Yeah. Imagine having to watch all that footage.
Yeah, just go through it.
I'm pretty sure I farted at 3:30 yesterday. Like,
I mean, if it's a good enough one, you're like, oh, I gotta go check the camera right now so I don't forget that one.
Oh my God, I'm feeling some gas coming on. Time to put on makeup. One man's IBS is another man's gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. I mean, you gave us plenty of options. First of all, I would like to here, you can comment what you think was the worst of the ideas. What was like the worst of which I'm a little bit partial to the soulmate in 24 hours, but that was me. I mean, obviously the burping was a good idea. And I think in the beginning of you even mentioning it, on social media, I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's good. I don't know. So tell us which one you think was the worst idea.
Do you think that your viewers would like a free burp?
Yeah, I think. I mean, if you're willing to do it. So this is your little tease.
It's really weird, by the way, because it's not like comedy where I have some mentor where I can ask like, oh, how much should I be charging for this? Like there was no.
Yeah, you're really paving your own way here. Yeah.
So, anyways, I start my subscriptions at $9.99 a month, and you get quite a bit of burp content. I think that's pretty good.
That's great. I think that's absolutely worth it. That's only $10. You have plenty of other subscriptions. You don't need that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, that seemed like a two-part. That was good. So is that what we could expect from maybe a custom video? You could say different phrases and stuff.
That one was better. I think maybe it's hard. Certain names, it's really easy. I did the Whiskey Brothers podcast, and I said Whiskey Brothers, but maybe starting on the M sound of your name just makes it harder to burp your name.
It is a weird, it's like 3-syllable, even though it's not.
I think I lost it on the end. Great, now I can't believe I'm critiquing my own burps now.
This is the behind the scenes we were looking for.
That burp bombed. Oh no.
Oh no.
Your career is a farter.
Can you watch yourself back with the burps better than you can with stand-up? You said you didn't like
100%.
So where can people find you for burps or for, other
on social media I am. So, on OnlyFans, I'm onlyfans.com/burpsmagoo. That's MAGOO. Same with TikTok if you just want some free burps. TikTok /burpsmagoo. I haven't updated TikTok in a long time though, but And then on Instagram, I'm at Wackensauce, which is a play on my last name, Wackenshaw, Wackensauce, like spaghetti sauce and hot sauce and booze sauce. All the sauces are for me.
All the brilliant sauces.
Facebook, Christina Wackenshaw. My comedy album, my solo album is called It's Taking a Long Time to Become Famous. Nice. I'm not sure if the jokes hold up, but the title does.
Yeah. Until the burps here.
Yeah. Until the burps take off. And what else? Yeah, I have a half-hour comedy special, but I think you can only watch it in Canada because it's on the Canadian Comedy Network, and I think you can watch it on Crave up there. And I have a Just for Laughs. Comedy album was really fun, and I'm trying to start a new blog. I'm trying to start a new blog right now because I want to go back and just like kind of as like a precursor to a memoir, and I just want to start a blog and go back and relive my 22 years of stand-up.
Yeah, that would be. I'll read it. I've always loved your writing though, your blogs. She has had a couple other blogs that kind of.
Yeah, I've had 2 good blogs. If you went way down my Tumblr, I had a really good Tinder blog a long time ago that did get optioned to be a TV show. So I did make some money from that, even though we didn't make anything. But yeah, so that I went on 50 first dates on Tinder, which kind of turned into 100 first dates because I kept writing. And then I had another blog a couple years ago, which is still something I'm working on. This is my pilot. This is like my big passion project that I'm working on pitching. And that's my show about a traditionally monogamous woman attempts to convert to polyamory, and what she thinks looks ideal on paper ends up being a shit show in practice. So yeah, I'm trying to turn that into a book, but I'm probably going to put that on. I'm probably going to try out Radish for that. I'm just trying all sorts of different things right now because I feel like if I can make money off burps,
anything's possible.
I can make money off my talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good. Yes, follow her, check her out. As soon as all these things come out, you got to support them. My gosh. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on with us, and also for the free little teaser of your burps. That's it's priceless, honestly.
I think that I could have done better. Oh, whatever. I'm too hard on myself.
Well,
even with...
I'm sure you can do better, and that's why people should go
exactly.
to your OnlyFans. And then of course thank you to Third Wheel Podcast Studio for having me here in the Seattle one. If you want to make a podcast or you already have one and you need people to help you with it, this is a great place to do it. Third Wheel Podcast. There's also one in Los Angeles, and again to Drama Kids International. All those things will be linked in the description of the video, including Christina's links. And come back, subscribe, like, comment, all the things that they say on YouTube, and watch more episodes.
You're weird.
Yes.